Hello geographers, for this example I'm going to use Excel to do some GIS, but these are going to be bespoke areas that I'm going to draw myself. So before I've done videos on exact precise locations using lat and long. I've done them for known place names, settlements, I've done them for counties or countries, but this is an example where you draw the area yourself. So you might be doing an NEA or coursework or fieldwork or some research. So let's pretend I went to 5 different areas and I collected data from each of them. Okay, this is just random made up data. And then I've got a time element to it. You don't have to have the time, but I can show you a way of making a little movie using the time. So in Excel, I've got my 5 areas. Now, importantly, I've got to name the places later on with the exact spellings. So I've got a capital A for area, and I've got a space between area and the number 1. Okay, so let's go to Google Maps. And in Google Maps, you need to log in first of all. You need to set up an account and log in. And then using the 3 lines, the burger in the top left, you go to, apologies, not the burger, saved. You go into saved, maps. You might not have any maps. These are maps that I've drawn myself. You go to create map. Do you want to create a map? Yes, please. And then in the top left, it gives you the title. Let's call this fieldwork trees, just to remind me what it is, and I've created the trees. I can rename this layer if I wanted to. Let's pretend it's something to do with carbon. And then all I need to do now is find my location. I'm just going to randomly zoom into the UK, and using this symbol at the top, draw a line. I'm then going to use the left click to draw some polygons. Okay. Importantly, I must call them the same names with the same spelling that I did in my Excel sheet. So just left click, and then I left click on the final dot to seal the polygon. Area 2, good. And then area 3, let's pretend area 3 was here. We can do, all sorts of shapes. Area 3. Perfect. And area 4 is just there. Okay, and then my 4 areas. So as you can see, actually I've got 5, haven't I? Let's go back. It's the same spelling as I had in my Excel sheet. Okay, and there is area 5. Perfect. Now, that actually automatically saves. Okay, the cloud shows that it saves. I could share this with somebody else. I can preview this map. I can actually view this map on my phone if I get the exact URL. That's what sort of the share and the preview is. I can faff around with layers. But what I need to do is I need to export these areas. So a single latitude and longitude for each area wouldn't do, because that would be a point. I need to export the actual area, the shape of it. So I use the 3 dots right at the top here, menu, and it's export to KML, KMZ. Okay, I don't want to export the entire map. I just want my layer, tree data carbon, and then I need to click the final option, export as KML, download, and that will export or download the file, the KML file, to the top right of my computer. I'm in Chrome at the moment, but that'll go into your downloads folder. Okay, let's go back to Excel. I'm going to highlight my data, my table. I'm going to make sure I'm in the data ribbon, and then I'm going to go to data types. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I'm going to go to data model, 3D map, new tour. I'm going to go for flat map at the top. I could stick with a sphere, but I'm going to go for a flat map. I can click map labels on and off. But what I'm now going to do is I'm going to import my data. So it's custom regions. So right at the top, custom regions, import new set. I need to find my data from my downloads and import it. And then I can just pull across area into location. and tell it exactly where that is. So in the drop-down box, I don't say lat or long. I go all the way down to custom region KML, and bingo, there we go. And it'll work out exactly where my areas are. So there it's presenting the data. It's very, very boring, but what I need to do is not present as bar chart. I need to present as this final symbol here, this area shape. As soon as I click on that, there are my areas. And as you can see, if I click back to Google Maps, I just sort of go between the two. They're the exact areas that I drew. Okay, they're identical. So that's worked. Fantastic. So there's my data. What can I do with it? Well, let me plot my cost, okay, or tree carbon or whatever it is. I drag that down into value, and then it will give me a choropleth map on those different bespoke areas. In layer options, I can faff around with the deepness of that color blue. I can faff around with the transparency of it. I can change the color to a red. So the choropleth map is based on red there if I wanted it to. And as you've seen in my other videos, I can add a time element to this. So in the time box on the right, visited was the column header for time. I can right click, edit, change the time format. I prefer the sort of day and date rather than the whole time and year and stuff on there. And then using the cog here in the top left or scene options, I can change this to a much shorter video. So instead of 10 seconds, I'll go for about 5. And then I'll press the play button and the data actually appears and gives you that time element to it, that temporal element if you want it. You can go to the top left and create video and download that as an MP4 file, or you could just use it as GIS on the screen. I can click on my areas and it'll give me the data for each of those, but they are bespoke areas. So using Excel, I've put in some bespoke areas into Google Maps and then used Excel to create some clever GIS that I can manipulate and add to and annotate or add text boxes. I could even just take a screenshot and put that straight into Word if I need to print it off for my NEA. You could do all the usual stuff. You can sort of angle the view that you've got and pan in and out as you would before. Okay, hope that's helpful. Cheerio.